What's up, everybody? Big facts back in this thing once again, man. And I'm just looking over the Tupac exhibit, and yeah, it's great that they showing this downtown LA. Uh, I read somewhere where it's not gonna be there long, so if you got a chance to go see it, go see it. I also read that I also saw a picture of Afeni Shakur in one of these exhibits that they had in 2015. So this is nothing new. It's been around, and I'm glad Afeni got a chance to be a part of it, and probably was the head of providing the Tupac items. One thing that I hope they have in there, but I'm not sure they have it. I doubt they have it. But that gold chain, that pendant with the angel of death on it that Tupac wore the night he got shot and died 7 days later. I would be very interested in finding out who has that chain, where is it, and why isn't it in the museum? When Afeni was alive, I would have thought she would have had control, had that in her possession to display in a museum like this. And I hope it is in this museum, and I hope she had a chance to get it in her possession when she was alive, because that is a very significant item, along with the clothing he got shot in is very significant also. I would have loved to see that, the clothing he got shot in that night, the shoes he wore that night, everything. Oh man, that would be epic. But the museum looks good. You can see the Versace shirt a little bit over there, the red shirt. Did he wear that in the Snoop Dogg video? Two of America's Most Wanted. I think that was what he wore in the America's Most Wanted video. That red shirt with the black vest and the pants. Yeah, I think he did wear that. But I don't recognize this gray jacket. That vest looks familiar. Let's move on. Great exhibit, by the way. Very clean. The tattoo right here of Nefertiti. I mean, the statue of Nefertiti. He had a tattoo of that. Let's keep going. See him in the studio session right here. I remember that song in the studio session. This picture is from the Apocalypse. No, this picture is from the album Strictly for My Niggas. I remember this picture. That's Strictly for My Niggas. The picture with him covering his mouth up. You got Afeni and the Black Panther. So they got a exhibit of Afeni also, showcasing her youth when she was in the Black Panther Party. Pretty cool. So, Tupac had an identity, a strong identity, a strong background, a strong birth background, a strong legacy from his mother. That's why he was so intelligent and strong. And that's why, even to this day, he lives on. And look at this. That's a pretty ass shirt right there, bro. That's the Versace shirt he wore on the E40 video with Too Short in it, Players Ball video. That you can still wear that today. The suit, you can still wear that today. It's not old. It's not like time. It's not out of his. It's not out of date. That jacket you can still wear today. I don't remember him wearing that jacket. That jersey, that Duke jersey. You can wear that today. I remember him wearing that in the interview he did on MTV. And that goes to show you about 90s fashion. Like this is 90s fashion right here. And that jacket may be even long. That may be like 70s fashion. So that's like a throwback jacket. That style is from like what the 70s or 60s or something like that. Those varsity jackets from high school. That style may be from the 60s, 70s. But everything else is like 90s fashion. And I'm gonna say, man, when the 2000 hit, it's like fashion just got to a standstill. Like 2000, 2010, 2020. You can say the skinny jeans. Well, skinny jeans is not really fashion. They're just tight ass female jeans that niggas is wearing. So they ain't really no damn fashion. That's just some tight ass jeans niggas is wearing because they on some lame shit, man. They on some sucker shit. But all this stuff is like you can still wear this stuff today. I'm just saying the 2000s fashion fashion just stopped creating. Like imagination in the fashion industry just stopped, especially in urban wear. Like it's just stopped completely. No, there ain't nobody making no clothing that's standing out. Look at like in the 70s. I don't see people wearing jeans in the 70s. Like you can look at the show Good Times. I don't see JJ wearing blue jeans, and blue jeans got to be it got to be the worst fashion in history, and it got to be the worst fashion in all of history. It looked good in the 90s, but I don't think the 90s can compare to the 70s. I think the 70s, people dressed better in the 70s and 60s than they did in the 90s. After the 80s was really terrible. 80s was probably the worst dressed era in the history of the world. 80s was awful. 80s brought in those t-shirts, those lame ass t-shirts and the jeans, and it's just and then fashion kind of fashion got a little better in the 90s, but then it kind of declined again in the it got a little better in the 90s. In the 2000s, it just stayed in the 90s. 2010, it stayed in the 90s. We in 2020, we still wearing 90s clothing. In 2020, the males are. We still wearing 90s type clothing. We still wearing jerseys look like that. We still rocking those coats look like that. We still rocking shirts that look like this, the Versace shirts. We still rocking the 90s clothing, the 90s era in the 2020s. And like I said, that says a lot about the fashion industry, especially urban wear. But like I said, 80s probably was the worst decade for dressing. Awful, man. You look at the 80s clothing, man, like it was it was just sloppy, awful. No imagination, blue jean, you had the blue jean. You had the blue jean jacket it looked kind of cool, but that probably was the best looking thing in the 80s in urban wear, a blue jean jacket. 80s sucked ass, bro. Just look at videos from the 80s. You'll see how ugly the clothing was back then. It was horrible. Look at the music videos. Look at the people. Look at 80s movies. The clothing is horrible. Ugh. 70s they had better dress. 70s was better dressed. 60s was better dressed. 50s was better dressed. The 40s, 30s, the 20s. They wore suits. Men wore suits in the 30s and 40s. Men, when they went out the house, they went out the house to impress. They looked very well. Very well. They looked very good. the dressing level was up to par, man. I mean, it was nothing like if you wore clothing today, back in the 20s, you'd be looked at as homeless. You know what I'm saying? With your blue jeans and t-shirt, you look like you was homeless, man. But like I said, the '80s started that shit. The '80s was the decline of fashion, pretty much, and it's still today. Like we still stuck in like the '90s fashion sense. You know, the '80s wore tight shirts and I don't know, man. The '80s was just not cool at all. But yeah, man. So to this day, you can wear clothing like this and still go out and be relevant. And this is in '96. And here's another. This is the outfit Tupac wore in that All Eyes on Me cover. Not cover, but inside the cover, inside the booklet. This is the outfit he wore when he was you can see the picture right there. When he was posing by the palm trees and shaking his cousin Castro's hand, sitting down with the felines on. This is the outfit he had on. So I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, it's just amazing, you know, how things have, for the most part, stayed the same. Some things have changed, like the gold grill, you know, the grills people got in their mouth, the rappers especially. Maybe the watches have changed, but the jewelry has changed big time. You know, I can say that the jewelry has changed, the chains, the watches, you know what I'm saying, the teeth, the gold, the grill, the grills in their mouth, the white diamonds and platinum and all that. That's changed, but that's pretty much it. That's changed. And dudes is wearing skinny jeans now, but they just going to the female section. They ain't, you know, that is not nothing new in fashion. It's just dudes going to the female section buying female jeans. That's what that's about. But yeah, man, the Tupac exhibit looks pretty cool down there in LA. That's it for me though. Big facts. Peace.